Well, today's Friday and it's the 8th of September 2023, and I've come down to Palma to find out about a little bit of history. And it starts really, I suppose, as a child. I was always interested in knights in shining armour and swords and that sort of thing. And, well, one of the groups that were knights in shining armour were the Knights Templar. I don't really know very much about the Knights Templar, but I'm a Freemason, and there's always been an association. I know it's sort of a tenuous association, but it's still always fascinated me. So I thought I'd try and find out a little bit about them and their association with our city, Palma. So, well, where do you start? So I sort of started with some research, and not knowing who to ask, I asked Bard. Bard is the artificial intelligence thing on the internet, and you just ask them a question and they tell you the answer. So this is what Bard has to say about the Knights Templar. It says that they were a Catholic military order which was founded in 1119 to protect Christian pilgrims in the Holy Land. They quickly became one of the most powerful and wealthy organisations in Europe, and their influence extended to the Balearic Islands, including Majorca. Templars arrived in Majorca in the early 13th century, shortly after the islands were conquered by King James I of Aragon. They were granted extensive landholdings and privileges, including the right to collect taxes and mint coins. They also built a number of fortifications on the island, including the Torres del Temple, a medieval castle in Palma. The Templars remained in Majorca until the suspension by Pope Clement V in 1312. However, their legacy can still be found on the island today in the form of their castles, the churches and the buildings. And just some of them. First one we mentioned is the Torres del Temple. That's where I'm going to start my journey. This is a medieval castle that was built by the Templars in the early 13th century and is located in the heart of the old Palma town. And the Bard says it houses a museum of religious art. I think that's wrong. Another chapel is San Miguel. This chapel was built by the Templars in the 13th century and located in the Plaza de la Reina. I need to go and investigate that and find out where that is. It's one of the oldest surviving buildings in Palma, apparently. Monastery of Saint Bernat is also something to find out about. And up in Poyensa, the Mount of Calvary, the Calvary Mount. So lots of things to find out. And where am I starting? Well, I'm starting in that first one that was mentioned, which is the Torre del Temple. And not sure if you could see that in the video, but that's what I was standing in front of. It's a statue of Ramonul, and the lodge, the Masonic lodge I'm a member of, is the Ramonul Lodge, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to do a bit more of a talk on him, so a bit more research to be done on my part. But that is in this road here, which is Calle de Ramonul. But it's also in the area of the temple, and that's what this little area is actually referred to. So let's just walk a little bit down this way, try not to get run over. It is pedestrianised. This is the end of Ramonul Street and the start of the Temple Street. And the building in front of us is what we're talking about. It's the Torre, and you can see it probably was back in the 13th century something quite magnificent. And looking at the history, it actually started life as a Moorish or Arabic castle. And then it was given to the Knights Templar, who created their fortifications here. And it, well, now is in a little bit of state of disrepair. So I went onto the internet and started to have a look around, And I found an article in the Daily Bulletin dating back to 2021, I think it was. And on there it said that the local government here in Palma had set aside €2 million, over €2 million, in order to restore this and turn it into a museum. Looking in some of the Spanish press, that was repeated a few days later, that this was going to be restored and going to be a museum which was going to house artifacts and information about the Knights Templar and of that period of time, like this history of Majorca. Moving on a year or so, they said that that was going to take about 20 months, but in 2022, nothing much seems to have happened. And there's another article to say that a different amount of money has been set aside to do this building up. And there's actually photographs in the Ultimora showing machines outside here starting to do some work. I'm not sure what, if anything, they've done other than board up the windows. They said then that the work was going to be done in a few months. The latest report I've seen said that the work should be done by 2024. Actually, I can't see anybody doing anything here or any sign that any work has been done, other than there is some steel in front there that's actually doing some support work. So I really hope that this does get some work done. And I'll just go back to that statue of Ramanuel, because in front of that there is actually a sign. So this is the sign. It's got a different amount of money, €346,000, and the contract has been assigned. Starting the work in November 2021. Well, that's a long time ago, and it says that it was estimated to take 6 months. Well, that hasn't happened. Part of the plans are also to change some of the roads around here, and there is no sign of any of that sort of work going on. Worryingly, it actually says some of the work's being financed by the European Union, and I'm guessing, and the government of Spain. So I'm guessing that they're going to want to see what's happened to their money. Where's all of these, well, hundreds of thousands there, but millions of euros mentioned in the newspaper? Where's that gone? Where's it being spent? Because I can't see anything that's actually being done here other than boarded up the windows. Well, I came down to Palma today to hopefully to show you what progress had been made on a museum to the Knights Templar and the history of Palma, only to find that it looks to me as though money has disappeared, and there could be another scandal in the air here. It's really disappointing that nothing has been done in all those years. Having seen the sign there, that is 2021, so they can't blame it on the pandemic. This is all post-pandemic stuff that they've agreed on, and they've actually assigned the work to people. I've seen nothing in the newspapers to say why the work has stopped, why nothing's happening here, or where the money's gone. The money was initially going to be coming from the eco tax or tourist tax. The first €2 million said that was where all of the money was coming from, almost all of the money. Did they spend it on something else? Where's that money gone to now? The sign over there seems to show that other entities were actually involved with financing at least part of the work, €346,000 worth of it. But for us who are hoping to see something come of this historic building, well, I think we're left somewhat disappointed. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to continue my quest to find out more about the Knights Templar, and I'll certainly be back down here to find out what, if anything, is happening to this archway and gateway to the city.